Yo, what's good, everybody? Today is January the 27th, 2026. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another opportunity of prayer. We thank you, God, for allowing us to see another day, oh God. I ask you, God, that during this Arctic storm on the wet East Coast, that you keep everybody safe, that everybody's protected. We ask you, God, that you will bless our broadcast tonight, as well as our viewers and our guests, as well as hers. And we bless actually that you will bless our conversation. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Today is another episode. I want to start off by saying happy born day to everybody that celebrated born days this previous week, especially my man Gene Tutler, one of the Fab Five. Happy born day again, bro. Um, there's quite a few other birthdays that people had this weekend. But happy birthday to everybody. Happy anniversary to everybody that celebrated milestone anniversaries and special anniversaries on this weekend as well. I seen where somebody was celebrating 15 years at their workplace. So congratulations to everybody that's celebrating. I want to offer my condolences to the Bay family. There in Newark, New Jersey, which is home for me, or where I'm from, my home city. Um, Mr. Bay was the young man that was unalived by off-duty cops in the city of Newark last week. Then it was a whole big incident while the next day they were having a vigil for him, and they pulled his brother over with his children in the car and were trying to arrest him. Just a whole bunch of drama. But we as a city, we lost a good one. We want to send our condolences to the Bay family. Hope that everyone is doing well and supporting one another and the family and the children as well. It was good, Sam. Um, yeah, condolences to them as well. Condolences to the Porter family, who I mentioned earlier in the pre-show announcement, as well as the Pretti family. And we'll get to that as we get into the show. Why I added Mr. Porter, Keith Porter, to that list. Um, and like I said, we'll get into that as we get into the episode. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I wanted to introduce my guest for tonight, my special co-host. She's a young lady that I've been following on Facebook for quite a bit now. I like her content, and I thought like I reached out to her to see if she would be interested in joining me one evening, and she agreed with no hesitation. So I would like everybody to welcome to the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show, Miss Hey Y'all Hey
Hey,
herself,
yeah, hey.
Miss Tanya. How are you this evening, Tanya?
I am doing well. I'm doing well.
Thanks for everybody that's tuning in on YouTube as well, man. Shout out, I see all the comments. Sam Jaburps 5. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but thank you for tuning in as well. Feel free to leave any questions or comments for myself or the guests tonight as we keep going on, as we go on without the show. If you guys want to comment, that's part of the show. That makes it even better when you guys have questions for myself or the guests as well. Incorporate yourself into the show and be a part of the episode. I'm very appreciative for all of that. But with that being said, Tanya, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I just started my social media journey in February of 2025. So it's coming up on a year. And I just started making videos and like to interact with people and just I was doing questions of the day every day. And then all of a sudden it turned into like inspirations of the day. And then Grinds My Glitter is one of my segments where stuff just irritates me. And so I just kind of vent. And yeah, so I enjoy doing it. And I feel like I have, a connection. I've been through a lot in my life. So I feel like I have a connection that, I can understand a lot of things that people go through. So yeah, I enjoy doing it. It makes me happy and it's something that, gives me purpose. So yeah, it's Tanya Talks on YouTube, Tanya Talks PRPYT. So you guys can go and subscribe. And on Facebook, it's Tanya Helt, HELT.
All
So yeah,
right, cool deal. And congratulations on your year.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're actually doing it because, like I said, I came across your content a while ago, and even when I on my posts, I'm one of those people that don't tend to. I let people say what they want as far as in the comments and all that. They're just
Yeah.
respectful. But I seen one exchange where you had commented something and somebody was going back and forth with you. I had to pull them to the side and kind of check them. You know what I mean?
Really?
So I do want to let you know that situation was addressed. I forgot what the post was, but I think it was something along the lines of, this is what y'all voted for, or something like this here. You had said that I didn't vote for this and this here, that there, whatever the exchange was.
Oh, I it might have been about ice. I mean, was it recently?
This was maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. That's why I said I can't remember what the
Oh
incident
gosh,
was,
yeah.
but I
I
seen
don't even
somebody
remember.
had to get off the grid, off the grid, and approach him like, look, you don't know her, don't be coming for her like that. I don't know
Yeah.
her like that, but you know, calm
Well,
down a
I
little bit.
appreciate you having my back because I didn't even, people have, I tell everybody has an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is what it is. And I mean, if you don't like what I'm saying, unfollow, unsubscribe. But, you're not going to agree with everybody. You're just not.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thank you. Thank you for having my back.
No doubt about it. Hey, what's good, Sam? What you mean? Why didn't I share? What you mean? The link? Um, somebody said proud. Tanya is fired. Stacy mom, she got it going on. Okay, guess that's compliments for Miss Tanya because I'm
Thank
definitely
you.
not
Thank
looking
you.
busy.
Thank you.
Now, let me, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
I'm from New York
Okay,
State, Rockland. It's like right outside the city. I'm not from a borough, but it's they would call it upstate. New Yorkers be like, "Oh, you're not from New York, you from
so yeah,
upstate." So
you from
okay, I'm from Rockland.
all right, so you from the fake part of New York.
That's what they say. But
I went to
it's like
New York.
literally 30 minutes from the Bronx and like 45 minutes from Manhattan. So whatever, call it what you want.
I
That's where
know.
I'm from. But I've been here in North Carolina for 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, I see. You still got your accent. That's why I couldn't tell if it was Jersey or New York. I just know you from up top originally.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Rockland too, because I used to go my church. We used to have our annual. We used to have like these Olympics throughout the churches during our annual convention, and so
Uh-huh.
from year to year we would have them up there at Rockland State Park. So I've
Oh,
definitely been
really?
there before. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Rockland State Park and those great memories back in the day. All right, Sam, give me a second. I'll send it to you. My man Sam, you want to join the broadcast with us? If you don't mind.
Oh,
But yeah,
more
we,
the
we
merrier.
yeah, we could get in. We're gonna get into we'll get into the can. We'll start off on the light on the light end on it later on in the show. I wanted to kind of get into this whole Sam not Sam. I was about to say Sam Presti. I'm thinking basketball. God forgive me. I wasn't laughing at the incident at all. Mr. Alex Pretti though, um, that whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Y'all give me 1 second. Um, for those that aren't aware, up in Minneapolis, there's been another killing by the uh, ICE agents. I think this is what the second one in 2 weeks, um, and it's just kind of crazy. The whole incident. I've been watching different films because initially I wasn't going to talk about it at all, but after watching the footage, I felt like it was something, and being that it was currently, it wasn't too far removed. We would definitely, discuss it on this evening. Why is this not coming up? I apologize, y'all. All right, yeah. Oh, she did share it, Sam, and we'll give it back out again before the show was over, but her YouTube page and everything else. Um, but yeah, with this Alex Presley situation, again, this is the second one in since the beginning of the year. The incident, and those that are not familiar with it, it was pretty much So from what my understanding is, he was out there protesting with everyone else. Um, but unfortunately, now little background on him: he was 37 years old. He was also an ICU nurse
Hmm.
in a veterans hospital where he was a vet himself, and he used to work with the patients or whatever the case may be. And from my recollection, and that's why I wanted to post it out shared earlier. It's funny how people could see the same exact thing, but what literally watch the same exact thing, but draw two different conclusions. I don't understand it. When you hear about the statements that Miss Christie Nome from the White House made in regards to trying to justify um, killing this man, it was absolutely absurd. It was absolutely disgusting. It was absolutely appalling, in my opinion. I'm not one of those ones that's afraid to say how I feel. I don't care. I don't, I really don't. You have no heaven or hell to put me in. I speak my mind and I say what I mean and I mean what I say. It was totally disgusting to hear her definition, and I was mad. I found it so ironic. Any other time we want to talk about certain topics on the show, I could go find transcripts. I could find this. I could find that. I could find the video because I posted the video to make sure that it was out there, and I saved some other ones on TikTok. But I can't find the transcript of the things that she said at this press conference to save my life. Google, Jimmy, like I wonder why though, because
Yeah, they try to cover everything up,
exactly when this incident first happened, it was blasted all over CNN, all over the news, everything else. Because I remember her face. I didn't even know who she was at the time. But now all of a sudden, that they're finding out that it's two different sides of the story based off the video footage that's being presented. Even with the what's his name, Baselli, whatever his name is, Mr. Ice himself, that they're trying to move. Um, let me see. Hey, what's good, Jew? No, there's no way anyone can twist and turn this. They murdered that man.
they
Absolutely.
did.
No, he was doing a documentary. Yeah, and I know you told me that earlier, Drew. I've never heard that until you said it, but I'm not saying that you were wrong or anything. I'm
No,
just
they said he was out there taking photos. That's what he was doing. He was just recording the protest,
hmm
and he saw a woman being attacked, and so he went to her aid. And
hmm
that's when everything got crazy. They sprayed him with mace in the face, and things just, rolled on from there. But like what I heard was that they took the witnesses as well. After it all happened, they took the witnesses, everybody that's seen it.
hmm
So if you knew you
Their
didn't do
phone.
anything wrong,
hmm
they're gonna try to cover it up. It's clear in the video that he had a camera in his hand.
Absolutely, and nothing in the other hand.
Right. I'm gonna have to move closer to my charger since I couldn't do it on my laptop and I'm on my phone.
Okay. Sam said they released the video for the 10 minutes prior. He was definitely doing more than just taking pictures. Mm.
No,
I didn't like I said I didn't see the full one. The one that I seen was
I
maybe
did.
6 minutes. And I've seen different ones. Um, Sam said he had a cell phone in his hand. Yeah, he did. But like I said, even before the altercation, it looked like they were after this particular woman. From my vantage point, me watching the videos that I've seen, um, yeah, you're right, Sam. He was cursing at the agents, but and from my vantage point, from the videos that I've seen, the footage that I've seen, it was only after they were going after the young lady. He was
Right.
actually trying to defend the young lady who was, I believe, was another nurse or somebody that was out there protesting. Um, he was trying to help her. Then when he started getting escalated with them, you see it it's on video. They shove her, they shove him, then they shove the other lady. Next thing you know, it's like he being gang initiated. They literally stomping dude out.
They were
Uh,
stomping him out and they were pistol whipping him.
yeah. Um, they was after a dude. The woman stepped in and he defended her. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And then, hey, what's good, Bev? Bev said he was directing traffic at one point. His cell phone was out. However, he is guilty of coming to the aid of a lady. And that's exactly what it was to me. Now, and like I said, to me, I'm not callous, I'm not heartless whatsoever. Um, like my man Brenty say, shout out to Brenty. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute so I can read his comment as well. So I like to have broad, every side of the spectrum.
Right.
Like Tanya said earlier, everybody has an opinion, and I like to hear both sides of the perspective. Um, but in terms of that, for me personally, I can honestly say it didn't move me one way or the other until I've continued to watch the video. And again, I had seen everything that the Gnome lady said before I actually watched the video and hear her description of a domestic terrorist, of this man that came in with all this firepower and ammunition to cause harm to uh, government officials, as she say, calling him a domestic terrorist. Cool. I had to take her word for it until I seen the video. Here's the problem, and this is the part that got me upset, because it's clear on both sides, whether you agree with what ICE is doing, how they're doing it, or whatever the case may be. That's neither here nor there. When you watch the footage and you see them literally stomping this dude out, remove his gun because he's supposedly there to attack them and cause this great massacre on law enforcement. Why didn't the shooting begin when you first witnessed the gun, him having a gun? No. Them cowards waited till they disarmed him before they shot him all them times.
Mm-hmm.
That's problematic to me, because I don't care why you can't spin that. You can't tell me what my eyes seen. You didn't start shooting until you took the man's gun, which means that he was not no threat to you anymore. So how do you justify that? How do you condone that? And now I'm seeing reports now where they talking about the Democrats are saying that if Trump doesn't fire her, remove her, they're going to impeach her or impeach him and all this here. Look, all they're going to do is classify. She's just going to get reclassified and relocated to a different division to continue to do the same thing, because as far as I'm concerned, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Trump already said before any of these incidents happened that if anything did happen, he was giving them immunity from pretty much to do whatever they want to do regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all smoke and mirrors at this point. Let's see. Sam said he quit the VA a few months ago, according to his father. His father said he warned him not to go out there. I think his dad knew something. Drew said they disarmed that man and then filled him with bullets. This is a bare madness. I guess they would have never been out there. They tried to impeach her already. It won't pass the Senate. Okay, yeah. I know I was saying something about the lurch right before I came on that they were potentially talking about, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to justify and try to clean up the damage that she did. And that's the problem with a lot of the Trump administration for me and me personally. Y'all know I don't really care about politics one way or another. But my thing is, do your research, do your due diligence. Just like this show. I have no problem with saying I don't know, or I don't have an opinion or something. I'm not just going to voice my opinion because it's cool to do it. And a lot of these people in this White House officials, these press people, they're coming out here spitting at them, and I don't understand why she would even say what she did say, because especially in this day and age where everything is on video, it's just a matter of time before the footage actually comes out. So why would you label this man as this great terroristic threat who came down there with the intent to cause a massacre and bodily harm to these officials? Like, that is absolutely absurd. So why would you even say something like that, knowing that the footage is eventually going to come out? That makes no sense whatsoever to me. It's just another example of how much they care about us, how much they care about the actual citizens. This wasn't no this wasn't no Indian. This wasn't no immigrant that came over here. This wasn't somebody that shouldn't have been here. It wasn't none of that. Yet and all, this man, this family is preparing this homegoing service over him standing up. And I get what you're saying, Sam, as far as, his father said that he wouldn't back. Because think about it. I remember when the incident happened in Raleigh, and this was a few years back, maybe 10 years ago. An incident happened in Durham where we went out there to protest. And when the pandemic first happened, and people were protesting downtown Raleigh, I got a beautiful shot of my youngest son down there with the police and riot gear and everything else. He's standing right there in front of him with his fist raised, and I was a proud dad. His mother, however, I don't want you to go down there. She's thinking about his safety and all that there. And my position is that there's no right or wrong whatsoever. I'm just using that as an example. And I get how his father would say that maybe he knew something, he didn't want him to go down there. But that's the thing. If we all stay silent, if we all don't protest, if we're not passionate about anything, then how can we ever expect change?
Nothing's gonna change. Nothing.
You can't do it. Like, of course, sometimes you got to be. I'll never forget living in when I first moved to North Carolina. Katrina first happened, and watching the videos and stuff what was going on in Katrina, I just felt like I needed to find my way to New Orleans to try to help do whatever. Now, in hindsight, that would have been disastrous. I know nothing at all about New Orleans. You know what I mean? I don't know where was it. I don't know where anything was, but to see those people out there totally hopeless and on roofs and everything else, my heart went out to those people, and I wanted to be a part of it, but I just physically couldn't get there at that particular time. You know what I mean? But when you see certain things, of course we want to think about our safety, but I respect people when they throw caution to the wind, so to speak, their own personal safety for the greater good. And my hat goes off to this young man. Like I said, from everything that I've seen, it looked like he was trying to defend the lady that they were messing with and everything else. And that's just, as Bev said, he was guilty of trying to defend the lady, and that's just sad. That's just sad. What was she gonna do? And they was pepper spraying them, both him and her. Like it was just crazy, the whole situation. What's your take? I'm rambling tight. What's your take on the whole situation?
That's okay. I agree with you. I agree. He was just out there filming, and they are just like coming into whatever city they're in, and he's given them power to do whatever they want to do. They're acting like police officers. I saw a video where they smoke bombed a vehicle with children in it, and one of the babies had to go to the hospital. It's like they're not even thinking. They're running into vehicles, and then they're taking the person. I saw they T-boned somebody, and they took the person out, and they just disappeared and left the car in the middle of the road. They have the power to do whatever they want to do, and that's the problem. And so, like, if we don't speak up about it and we don't do anything about it, it's gonna keep going. But in a way, it's like a double-edged sword, because he wants people to act crazy so he can call the National Guard, so he can have, I forget that word, where no, where they take over and they have, like, they give you a curfew and
yeah.
I forget the word, but
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Sam will have it in the comments in a few seconds. The Insurrection Act.
Yeah, so that he definitely wants the National Guard out there. He wants to basically be a dictator. That's it, and he wants us to go balls to the wall, essentially.
And it's like it's just a rough situation, because again, martial law. That's
martial
it.
law. There you go. Thank you, Nicole.
Hey, thank you for tuning in as always, Nicole. Yeah,
My brain is not braining. I've been working all day. I'm like,
that's exactly it. Martial law. That's what I was thinking about too. But it's so conflicting. It's just so conflicting that we living in a day and age where this is not a movie. And I'm not trying to be religious, but the Bible, it forewarns us of a lot of this type stuff. You know, in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves. We talk about all this foolery and all this nonsense that's going on in church, churches
Oh
across the
God,
world,
yeah.
and all this here. And then people want to use the excuse. Well, that's why I don't go to church now because they got this. Stop lying. You wouldn't go to church anyway. You know what I mean? Stop using that as an excuse. But to one of the people that was, one of the church people, like, how could you make so much fun of this here? You're a fellow believer and this here and that thing. I said, listen, it's real simple for me. If there wasn't so much foolery going on in the churches, there wouldn't be nothing for a Drewski to be mocking. You
That
didn't see
part.
you didn't see
And the
stuff like
things
this.
that they do in the church, it does turn people away.
Mm-hmm.
It turns people away. They don't. They're supposed to be Christians and love everybody and no judgment, but that's all they do is judge, 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 judge.
And it goes both ways. Is that's why I said like I said it, because it draws people away, but it also draws people in, because the gospel that they're calling the gospel, not the gospel, but what they're calling the gospel nowadays is so watered down that people say, you know what, I could get with that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, I can stroke my ego at the same time as calling myself loving the Lord, but I can still live however I want to. God knows my heart. I ain't gotta stop sinning.
You
He
can't straddle
understands
the fence.
that. You see what I'm
Can't
saying?
straddle the fence.
So it's like you use these things to justify, and it's real simple for me. Either you live in the life or you're not.
Right.
It's real simple. And if you
Right.
don't want to live the life, cool. Say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I look at it the same way when it comes to these politics. If you don't want to be held accountable for the people that vote you and put you in these positions and whatnot, you know what I mean? Then don't sign up for the job. Don't sign up
That
for the
part.
job. Like it's real simple. You know what I mean? Nobody's making you do anything. You be doing these type of things because you want to and I swear I said I'm gonna get into it one of these days. I'm gonna do a whole, not a sermon, but sort of a sermon on one of these shows. Well, on a sermon that I preached years ago, where it was stressing about, and I feel like the need to bring that back, because I was using the passage of scripture when it talks about people's reward and the rewards that you would get in the heavenly earth, and people like to assume or associate or automatically think that when the Bible is talking about this specific topic, that is, we're saying that as long as your heart is in the right place and you're doing the work of the Lord, and you're feeding the homeless and all these different kind of things, that you will reap your just reward. Where it's really not saying that. What it's saying is you will get your just reward, which means that, I hate to admit it, but let's talk about it. Some of these preachers, they just want to be preachers of big congregations. They don't care nothing about salvation. They don't care nothing about winning souls. You know what I mean? So what will their reward be? A big congregation. Doesn't mean it has anything to do with God, a relationship with God, or whatever the case must be. Some of these dudes want to be comedians in the pulpit. So people that's want to come, instead of going to the comedy club, want to come to get some comedy on Sunday morning, that's going to be your just reward. If it's prosperity, you know what I mean? But none of that has anything to do with an actual relationship with God. You
A
know what I mean?
relationship with God. Exactly. I don't like when people in the church, they put the pastor on such a pedestal that they forget the real reason why they're there. They're serving the pastor instead of
Mm-hmm.
serving God. And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to take care of your pastor, but the real reason why you there is supposed to form a relationship with God. Your pastor's human, just like you,
Mm-hmm.
just like you. So that's the issue I have.
And it goes both ways. It's like I said, I look at it like this. I have two incidents in my life where um, I was an armor bearer for different pastors, um, on many different occasions, not on a permanent basis, but here and there. Um, and I remember one incident where a pastor was in the office and Pretti getting ready for pre-service, and I seen other people that were in there with us, putting his shoes on for him and um, clean, making sure he got the glasses are clean. Like it was almost like it was real structured. And I'm not saying anything was wrong with that whatsoever, but it caught me off guard, right? And I thought about it. And I said, I would have a problem. First of all, I got a problem with helping put any grown man that's able-bodied, helping him put his shoes on, let alone time. That's first and foremost. um, but then I had to think about it. I thought about my bishop who passed away, and it'll be 6 years tomorrow. It's been a long weekend. Just thinking about the death of Kobe. That's why I always remember it, because it was hand in hand. Kobe passed away on that Friday morning, and while we still trying to process Kobe Bryant dying, I got the phone call that Sunday that my late bishop had passed away. And I usually don't get emotional about it, but for some reason this weekend, knowing that this anniversary weekend came up, I was just kind of shut away by myself. I didn't even do a lot of posting. I didn't do a lot of anything.
Well, grief is linear, and
Yeah.
I'm going through the same thing, grief, and it hits you sometimes where you don't even expect it, like out the blue.
And it's like all this weekend, I kept hearing something that he would say a lot in the middle of his sermons or whatever. And he would go off and speak in tongues, and then he would come back and say, "You got to show enough know God for yourself." And it just been resonating in my head, just hearing him say that so much this weekend, like never before. Even though I would have that memory for time, but it's just been ringing consistently like this whole weekend. You got to know God for yourself. You got to know God for yourself.
You got to have your own relationship with God. Can't nobody put you in heaven but God. Exactly. I don't care how many times you go to church. I don't care if you usher now. I don't care if you in the choir. I don't care. If you don't have a relationship with God, you doing all of that. You could be doing it just for show. You got to have a relationship with God.
And that's kind of the point that I was making. And I thought the reason I brought him up was because I watched this man in church, out of church, whether he was in the pulpit, I've been on outside of the pulpit. He lived the life that he preached about. Period.
And that's rare nowadays.
That was so. It was so beautiful to see, and it really didn't get. It really didn't hit me until I became an adult and I removed myself, maybe, and got older in years, and I said, you know what? Now I finally get it. Because for years I didn't understand why people didn't understand what holiness was or how you would go to church. I know this one young lady, she said she went to church for 20 years and she never knew she never heard about Jesus. Like, how was that even a thing that you could go to church for 20 years and never hear about Jesus?
How is that possible?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How is that even possible?
What were they talking about?
So imagine the surprise of me when I come up in this type of ministry where I'm seeing people living the lives that they living, they preaching about, people living the lives that they singing about. If I'm not going to be living it, I'm not coming to church, and I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be mixed emotions and things of that nature there. But it was like, knowing how he lived his life, I would have gladly had no problem with putting his shoes on for him. And I'm not saying that because he's no longer here. It's because he's earned that respect, because I've seen him put the work in.
Right.
I've seen him feeding the homeless. I've seen him. I share this from time to time. I never forget, we used to go hand out tracts on Saturday mornings in Irvington Center, in New Jersey, in Irvington, New Jersey. And that was the thing. I used to be so embarrassed as a kid, like, oh man, they gonna look at us like those church freaks and out here they try to, and this here and that there. And I remember we would pair up, but I remember this particular day, I was with him, and it was a homeless dude that was sitting there he was sleeping on the bus stop. And I remember my bishop, he started trying to tell a man about how much God really loved him, even though he was homeless. And the dude stopped and asked him, could he have something to drink? Now, mind you, I'm like this too. I was married for over 20 years. My wife, no, I don't drink. Nobody. I'm not drinking after nobody. It's just one of those things that I'm like that. I'm not drinking after nobody. Okay, whether it's my mother, my father, my brother. Like I just die of thirst before I drink after somebody. And Bishop was like that too. And in the middle of him actually witnessing to the young man, the homeless man asked him. He said no. What he said was he interjected while he was talking. He said, "You could tell me about my Jesus, but you won't let me drink any of your soda." And Bishop, he caught us up. He said, "You know what? You're absolutely right." And he gave him his soda. And the homeless man, I mean, he's slobbering and everything else. I still remember this as a kid. He drank some of the soda and he handed it back. And what was the first thing that the bishop did? That doesn't drink after anybody. He made sure he didn't wipe it off or anything else. He took another sip of the soda, and the man looked at him and said, "Now you can tell me anything you want to about your Jesus."
Because
Wow.
people watch what you do.
Exactly.
People watch
Exactly.
what you do.
And that's the point that I'm making. Everybody is not a scammer. Everybody is not out
Mhm.
there, but it's far too many people that are. So you can't get mad when people mock them. Sam said, uh,
Beverly.
so many people hate organized religion. I ain't paying bad nobody. It is that, but it's one of those things too. When we talk about the life of Christ, though, when we talk, I'm joking about it, and it is pretty disgusting to me in theory. But that's what because we're looking at it from a natural standpoint. When you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, it's like, what does the scripture say? What greater gift than to lay down your life for a friend? Something as a simple act of that, like that, there, if that gives me an opportunity to witness to somebody, to tell them about the love of Christ, if it's just a matter of something as simple as me drinking after them, do I really love Jesus? If I say, you know what, look, Lord, you need to send them somebody else. How much do I really, you know what I'm saying? It makes you question yourself sometimes. And I
Right.
know me personally, I would have failed that test if God had to test me with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But thank God Almighty that he found somebody else because he knew I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But the point is like when you say you love Christ and when you say you love God, you know what I mean? How
I gotta
far are
put
you
my
willing
feet up.
to go to show that? You know what I mean? Are you willing to let a stranger in your house? Are you willing to give a stranger a ride in the people, you got to be careful these days and nowadays and that there. All right, but you got to be led of God too. Like you never know what you know what I mean? How God is trying to use you or put you in situations for him to get the glory in the midst of things. And a lot of times it'll show you a thing or two about yourself as well. Um, Sam said people have replaced prayers with self affirmations. Absolutely, 1,000%. I absolutely agree with that. Pat Bev said pastors need to shut that down, take the focus off of them and on to Christ. There's a difference between honor and reverence. Absolutely.
I
Um,
agree.
Preachers may say that name of Jesus, but they fail to teach the congregation about his history. Thanks for that, Sam. Beverly said, reverence is a holy fear, and honor is respect shown through actions. So you rightfully could put on Bishop's shoes. Absolutely. And like I said, and that's the difference, though. The other guy that I said, I didn't see you. I seen you, and you was a good. Dude was a solid pastor. Like I think that he really cared about God's people and people relationship with God at that things of nature. There, it's just I hadn't seen the work. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the pulpit. I've seen how you are on Sunday, but how do you conduct yourself out there? In my bishop situation, I got to see him in and out in the grocery store, still trying to witness to somebody. You know, God loves you. You know what I mean? Can I talk to you for a second? I got to see the work. So when I seen it in real time, not just on Sunday mornings, then I'll be willing to do a little bit more for him because I seen you putting in that work. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, for sure.
respect, respect. For me, people always say you got to earn my respect. No, that I totally disagree with that. From my personal experience, like I'm gonna respect everybody off the rip. Like I'm gonna give you respect because I want respect in return. However, you can lose my respect, but I'm gonna automatically give an individual my respect off the rip because I don't know anything about you, so I have no reason not to respect you. until you give me other information
Right.
that contradicts that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't believe in you got to earn my respect and all that kind of did. No, you might have to earn my respect back, but respect is
Right.
freely given it from my perspective. But yeah, so it's just one of those slippery slopes where you know what I mean. Like I said, I don't even know how I went off on that, but we definitely got to get to the place where we were talking about the churches and whatnot, and like I said, to it's far too many people. I believe that too many of these institutions or churches, so to speak, like Sam said, everybody that's naming the name of Jesus ain't naming the name of Jesus. But I got into all that because that's what I was saying. And the Bible warns us this in the last days, men will become lovers of themselves. That's why I believe that we have so many mega churches. That's why we have so many of these big churches now, because people are not preaching the heaven and hell gospel, as they used to say back in the day. They're preaching these things that get people to come in, that stroke their egos and give their money and go home and feel like they did something. You know what I mean? I grew up in church. Like I said, I grew up as a church musician. Of course, we know how to play them chords to hit your emotions, and that's my problem with church nowadays is it's far too emotional, um, as opposed to spiritual. You know what I mean? You think that because you cried this Sunday morning that you was touched by God. God ain't had nothing to do with that. We know what we was doing when it came to that music. We know it's gonna bring out certain emotions when you've been going through all single week, and you know what I mean. I sing this particular song right here. We know how to set that atmosphere to where preachers don't even have to preach. Sometimes we can do everything that we need to do, that need to be done doing a message, but it's playing on your emotions. You see what I'm saying? Like, real. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. That's why it's so important, or it's so important to me, rather, I should say. When I go to these different churches, when I see people, when I ask them, well, what's your lineup for Sunday? I don't know. I got to pray about it. That's what I like to hear. I don't like to hear, well, we know that this one here is gonna bang. We know that all right, we're gonna start out slow, then we're gonna bring it up fast. And I've seen even where, preachers would tell the musicians, no, let's bring it down a little bit because I need to be the one to take the people there. Like,
Oh,
what?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Like what? I thought it was about for people to come in here today to have an experience with God.
Hmm.
Why are you making it about you? Or why do you have to be the one to like that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Sam said that's why I prefer a Bible study over actual Sunday service. Yeah. So it's just a day and age where we got to be so careful. Um, it talks about rulers of different lands and all this stuff that's going on with Venezuela, Iran, and wars and rumors of wars. Like, I heard it all my life. I used to be real sarcastic growing up, especially growing up in church. Like, I've been here and we living in the last days for all my life.
Yo,
It's been
when
30
I
years
tell
already.
you,
Y'all
like
still
my stepdad was real, real strict, real
uh,
religious. And so we was in church Monday through Sunday.
okay.
Every night had a night. Monday night was men's night, Tuesday night was women's night, Wednesday night was prayer, Thursday night was young people's night. Then like every night had a night. So every day after school you had to get ready for church. And all I remember is like we would have our little revivals outside, and then like I would see the people handing out little pamphlets saying, we're living in our last days, we're living in our last days. And I get it. But then as a child, it scares you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, the world's gonna end. You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, it messes with your head. So yes, I've experienced all of that.
And the truth be told, that's why it's so important. I'm glad that I grew up in the ministry that I did, where he stressed the fact of having a personal relationship with Christ for yourself, because a lot of times that's another thing. Truth be told, that a lot of these churches do that, especially back in the '80s and even nowadays. You know, they use religion as a fear factor, as a fear. You know what I mean? Whoa, you gonna be damned to hell and all that there, and
Oh,
it's like
listen. strict. When I tell you strict, I could not wear nail polish. I could not wear bangs. I could not wear pants. I could not ride a bike. I could not do so many things. Like I had to be a young lady. Like
Mhm.
even in gym class, I had to wear skirts. And like it was
I got
so
cousins
I
that was
couldn't
like
shave my legs. Like I'm walking around wearing skirts with hairy legs and all the, you know what I'm saying? Like it was,
that.
bro. When I tell you my childhood, like, yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, we all been. Let me find out I done met another young lady that done been to church as much as me.
Now, listen,
That's what Bev said. That was my life.
listen, it was terrible because, and then all the girls would be like, "Why you always wear skirts every day?" And then they would try to try you, and you know what I mean. Like
Cause I'm
the only
training
thing,
to be a little lady.
yeah, it was crazy. But then the seed was planted. The seed was planted because when I got older, and then I met my husband, um, he, I started asking questions, and then like his family was really like his uncle was a pastor, your cousin, like he grew up in the church. He was a drum player in the church. So
Mhm.
like then I got right back into church, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like on my own. I was old enough to make the decision, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't going every night. Like, it wasn't a forced thing, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it was
yeah.
because so it was
You want to.
different. It was a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam says she either grew up United Pentecostal or church.
Pentecostal. Yes. Yes.
Bev said, right.
Pentecostal.
I now appreciate that life. And I bet you do. Like, it's funny how the stuff that we grow up and the different things that we encounter growing up, how it grows up. When we get older, we learn to appreciate the things that we couldn't stand. Whether it was curfews, whether it was this here, whether it was that. Especially my mom being who she was, and I know listeners to Bad Mom, you know, being the prayer warriors that they are. I never forget one night we was going to see everybody was going to see a movie, and I asked my mother, could I go, and she said no. The Holy Ghost told I couldn't go. No, man, and shoot. Next Sunday, we had about two cars that didn't make it to church that next Sunday because this was a Saturday night, and they was in this bad accident on Route 22 up there in Jersey. Joanne, her lips was all busted. Ken broke his leg. It was that's a bad accident, and I remember thinking like, "Ooh, Lord, forgive me for cursing mommy out under my breath. This is one time I'm glad she
But she was right.
exactly."
Yeah.
So a lot of times we don't see that. What even when
Beverly.
when it comes to God, Bev said, "What tambourine banging and having a sheet thrown over you?
Yes.
The Holy
Yes.
Spirit is moving." I got my tambourines right here, right there. I keep my tambourines on deck.
Oh God.
uh, but it's like, and there's a lot of times, we're gonna get back into this camp, back into the show too. But I want to end it on this. A lot of times we need to have that same mentality and that same approach when it comes to the things of God, because a lot of
Mhm.
times what God will do is it'll look like he's punishing you, where he's actually sparing you from more heartache. You
Oh
think
yeah.
this is painful right now, but you don't understand that the heartache that he spared you from. You know what I mean? When you look back and you get to, make it through that experience. So sometimes we need to look at that. Everything that he keeps from us isn't to harm us. Sometimes it's to help us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what's good, too? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Um, Yeah, man, but this, like I said, this ice situation, man, something's got to give. One way or another, something's got to give. And the reason that people like, well, Keith Porter, what they got to do with anything? I brought him up because I don't know. I didn't get a chance to send you any information about him, Tanya. I wasn't sure if you had ever even heard of him. A lot of people were saying that they didn't. They
I
don't
yeah,
even.
I don't know who that is.
So Keith Porter was a young man out there in California who was killed by ICE agent off duty. Um, so long story short, New Year's Eve he was celebrating. He went outside
Oh,
midnight, went off busting the air,
yeah.
off-duty ICE agent that lived in the same apartment complex came and approached him. He said that he identified himself as a law enforcement officer, which is gave me questions anyway. And he wound up shooting and killing this young man. But I don't recall, not saying that they didn't, but I don't recall seeing any of this on the news, and any of this real time. And this was, like I said, this was New Year's Eve, coming to New Year's Eve.
I
So
think I heard about it like one video on TikTok, and then a friend of mine was telling me about it. Like I didn't see it anywhere.
And the thing that it made me question was, one, I can identify myself as an ICE agent. It doesn't mean that
Right.
I'm an ICE agent. That's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? But why weren't you just in your business? Why, if that was the case, if you was an off-duty ICE agent, why didn't you call it? If you thought it was he was out there doing something crazy or some gang activity, why didn't you call your local police? Why did you feel it necessary for you to go out there and rectify the situation?
And
Like, you take matters into your own hand. So that right there was problematic for me personally. But I brought it up for the simple fact, not because he was black, but for the simple fact that I need people to wake up and I need people to be aware. Like, because the media, one of the reasons that I always, and I've said this since I've been in high school, one of the reasons that racism will always exist, always exist here in America, is because of the media. And they keep showing us this young lady, Renee Good, that passed away, Alex Pretti, you know what I mean? Because they know it's going to stroke that emotions, like you said earlier, because this administrator want us to act out. Not black people, not white people, not brown people, just the people, period.
All of us, they want us to go and do something.
Exactly. Because they want, so they could justify what they're trying to put into play. Period. So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. That, like, is a reason why they will show us the George Floyd tape on repeat. You know what I mean? But they won't show Keith Porter.
Yeah, that's
a footnote. You know what I'm saying? Because they know if it's these inner city young men versus the police, that's you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's gonna cause the reaction for them to say, yeah, now we got him. You know what I mean? Sam said it's not right, but he was breaking multiple laws, having a firearm, shooting in the city limits, firing up in the air. But I look at it from a military law enforcement perspective, and you're 100% right, Sam. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm quite sure, and I don't know because I wasn't there, but I'm almost 1,000% positive that he wasn't the only one busting a gun.
Oh no, no. New Year's Eve, everybody busting. Yeah.
Exactly. That's not something whether it's against
the law. It is illegal to be doing it, but everybody's doing it.
Still do it every day. Yeah. And I'm not saying that gives you a pass.
Especially in the city, yeah.
Like, come on, what are we really talking about here? And like I said, it doesn't make it right because a lot of people do that. A lot of people sneak in the football games. A lot of people sneak in the basketball games.
Right.
Is it wrong? Absolutely. But
did he deserve to lose his life over it? No.
That's the real question right there.
Right.
They want my man Marquise too said they want to stop the midterm elections. That's why so much chaos is happening and being allowed to happen. Yeah. And Sam said I seen you earlier, Sam, when you said it's about to slow down. But I've been hearing stuff about that too. They saying that Trump is behind in the midterms.
Yeah, and if that comes out, they're gonna see how bad he's gone down. What did they call it? The popular vote. Nobody wants. Even his own people are turning against him. Not quick enough, though.
Do you think the media has the objective of the president? The president doesn't control the media. No, but it's just like anything else. Is the powers that be? It's all a unit. Me personally, this is just me giving my perspective. Since you asked me the question, Sam, for me, I don't believe in the Democrats. I don't believe in the Republicans. I don't believe in the liberals. I don't believe in the right or the left, because it's all. It's like to me. I look at it like this: as much as the NBA tell us that we are a part of the game and different things of that nature there, I cannot take my black behind to a Charlotte Hornets game and go down there and put on a uniform and go to the locker room and everything else. Only thing I get to do is buy a ticket and sit upstairs and enjoy the game. I look at the politics in this corporate. I don't call it a country. I call it a corporation. The same exact way. They want you to think that you have a say so in your vote. Now, whether I'm right, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just telling you my thought process. They want you to think that so that you feel like you have a little bit of say so, a little bit of control. But the powers that be are the powers that be. The people that control media, the people that control politics, the people that control big pharma, all these pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies, they all are part of the same propaganda.
Right.
They all are part of the same thing. So, of course, they have hidden objectives. You know what I mean? And I never forget, I didn't realize this till I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. And I remember going in an incident where I was going into Walmart. And I remember I'm preaching at the time. But it was cold out there this particular day, so I had a triple fat goose on and walking into Walmart. And I remember seeing this white lady as she was coming out of Walmart. I was going in. I see it was her and her husband walking together, me and my wife at the time. And as we're walking into Walmart, I see her kind of clutch a pocketbook or anything. And I'm like, lady, why? I'm saying to myself, of course I didn't say anything to her.
Right.
You know, back in the day, I should have booed at her. Boo. I should have scared her. just for her being racist. But like I said, I was in a different state of mind at this particular time in life. And instead of me getting offended, I wasn't defending her. Let's be clear. I wasn't defending her, but I started to think about it. And I said, and it was nothing about the Holy Spirit, but I said, you know what? I said, I can't really get mad at her because the side of town that I was in Little Rock at this particular time, the Walmart I was in, it might be 5% blacks that live there, all white people. You know what I mean? And I thought about my experience growing up in North New Jersey. People have a hard time believing me, but I literally, in 3.5 years of going to West Side High School, I only seen 2 white students. You know what I mean? Out of whole high school. We had one my freshman year that graduated in 91. And then 2 years later, my junior year, we got a new one. So I only went to school with 2 white. So everything that I knew about white people was based off of what? What I seen on TV.
Right.
Media. So if you watching a local episode of Law and Order and they in the hood and you said somebody that's dressed just like me done beat up and robbed this lady, of course that's what she gonna identify with.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't make it right.
No, it's not
My
right.
point is the media, when I say the media, I mean all of it, not just the CNN and all of them. The media and TV in general plays a big part in why racism still exists, and they pick and choose the stories, you know what I mean, to push their narrative. Like, let's be honest, and this is one thing that bothers me too. Like, and I'm not knocking people that's in education at all. More power to you. But my question is always, no matter how much you may learn, no matter how many doctorates you got, how many PhDs you got, how much of this information is actually factual? And how can you prove that it's factual? You know what I mean? If we wasn't there to live in during slavery, and I'm not saying that it wasn't bad, but how do we know that all these movies that we've seen, that was the truth? You see what I'm saying? If we don't have those people that's handing down telling us different stories, that's something totally different. You know what I mean? But sometimes in a movie, you could push like, what was that movie? The Green Book or whatever. One of the movies. But it's always like they always make these white people look like, all right, I'm down with the cause. I'm down with the brothers. I'm not saying that it wasn't white people that was like that.
The Green Mile. You talk about the Green Mile.
No, not the Green Mile. It was one with my man Marshall, what however you pronounce his name, he plays this great pianist, and the dude that he had a white dude that was racist that was like his bodyguard, but he had to drive him through the South and all this here
Okay,
during
okay, okay.
the time there. But it wasn't a bad movie. But it just made me when I see all these, even when it going back to Christianity. How do I know all these different things? And how do I know that when you tell me to preach the word and nothing but the word, you ain't supposed to add nothing to take away from the Bible? Who was on that committee that cut it from 84 books down to 66 books?
That part.
All these different translations, and I thought we wasn't supposed to change nothing or add nothing. But you've been coming out with a new version. You got the new King James version. You got this version and that version and the NLT, the NIV, the AME, all these different versions. So how do I know how much is really factual?
Right.
Based off of, because you can believe. I tell people all the time, and I stress it on the show all the time, that everything starts with what a person believes. But just because you believe a thing doesn't mean it's true either. So we got to be real careful when it comes to things like that there. But like I said, the media, they do too much of picking and choosing these stories, and I think they always gonna go with the ones ever since the Inquirer came out. During the 80s, that's when you seen this big change in where controversy started selling and all these different things here. I was thinking about this because I'm a big into sports, right? So I was thinking about this here when you watch some of them older movies again, or you hear the different stories. Back in the 40s and the 50s and stuff, after the game was over, reporters and the players would be at the same bars, hanging out.
Mm.
They wasn't talking about. They wasn't gonna go back and print no story about how he was a wife beater or alcoholic or a gambler and all that. It was a code of ethics that what stays in the bar, what happens in the bar stays in the bar. What happens in the locker room stays in the bar. But then when we got to the 80s, all of a sudden, you know what? Controversy sell. We can make money, and everything became about exposing people and outing people. And Michael Jordan, he's in the finals, but he's out in Atlantic City gambling. Well, that doesn't do anything if he's still performing on the court. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like all these different kind of things, and it's like, where did that shift change, and how do we get there? How do we get back to where just do your job, just do your job. Period. Ain't your job to always be the first one to out people or the first one to post something, and then now you got to retract it because you wanted to be the first one, but it was inaccurate. You know what I mean? And it made me think about that the same day, this weekend, same weekend, 6 years ago. I remember when the news of Kobe first died, like the first 6 to 8 hours, everybody like, nah, this can't be real. Where you hear that from? And it was if you was alive during this particular time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's like, nah, that can't be true. And then about maybe 4 hours later, once everybody seen TMZ, oh man, if TMZ reported it, it must be true.
Yeah, it must be true.
It was just so much craziness, and like we're so addicted. We're in a day and age where, as a society, we're just addicted to drama, which is, I think, is absolutely crazy. Politicians trying to fundraise and nothing more than that. They know when our community is emotional, we may show up to vote. They are two wings of the same bird. Absolutely. You can't trust any political party. Remember, the KKK was originally the Democratic Party. They were exchange students. Sam said, originally, I think they still are. Control was the point of the Klan. Absolutely. Department of Defense was his own movie production. Department of Defense has its own movie production. Now think about that. Now why would that, how is that even possible? But I digress. That's neither here nor there. Before we get out of here though, I wanted to talk about, that's how we I remember my man Rodney earlier. He said something about like that's actually gonna be a topic. Oh, before we get off that, I wanted to read that comment I was talking about though. Let me get it back up real quick. Because I like to hear different perspectives. My man Brenty said, "Listen, this is in response to the video with the Christy Dome lady. Well, actually, I go ahead and read all of them. Rodney said They got the green light to do whatever from the president. He got their back 100% no matter what. One dude was out there clapping like yes when they put 10 in that guy. That's crazy. I still ain't see him clapping, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna go back and watch it a few more times. Um, Brittany said, "Listen, they was wrong for killing boy, but people need to stop it and go TF home or to work. All that standing out there in the cold, protesting and throwing things and yelling and spitting on ice. And a lot of these videos we see when they're roughing people up is after the people done started with them. And when they go on in attack mode, that's when the cameras is on recording, shaking my head. And if we was in another country, do you think that these people, if we was in another country, do you think these people were doing the same thing? We got to go. You think them people were going to protest for us Americans that don't really belong in their country? Absolutely not. People here in America is crazy, and half this stuff is all planned, and nothing going to change. Nothing is going to happen to nobody. The people that's running this world is wicked, and it's only going to get worse. Um, that's a mouthful, but yeah, I agree. I agree with some of that. I agree with some of that, especially the last part. Um, I believe, like I said, I believe that they want you to believe all these different things. I remember I'm one of those people that always chose sides in my whole life. Like it's got to be either Pepsi or Coke. Like I can't do both.
Mm.
like Team Pepsi. I would not. I wouldn't drink a Coke to save my life. I never liked Coke. Um, but I remember I was working at this convenience store, and I used to feel like I said I was like that with everything, ruffling Lays. Until I realized, you know what? They the same company. They the same entity. It's just that they both either way, all the money is going back to the same
It's
place.
going back to the same
That's what it
place.
is. That's the way they get us though.
Yeah,
They
it's
feel like
true.
you gotta pick a side, and they both the same side.
Them little, I remember going to the mall when I was a teenager, and they used to have those booths, and they used to have you like they didn't tell you what it was, and they would have you taste test
Mm-hmm.
to see if you could
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
the Coke and which is the Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's all going to the same place.
It's all smoke and mirrors. That's why I said we got to be real careful when it comes to all these politics and whether Trump is this and Trump is that. I don't really care because it's gonna always be really. It's always gonna be. Um, there's always gonna be something to be said, right? Just think about it. Like we talked about it earlier. Jesus. You take Jesus as an example. You have people that crucify Jesus, but Jesus also has supporters. Nobody bats 1,000 in this life. So no matter what you say, no matter what you think, there's always going to be somebody that's against it or that disagrees, which is why I'm like I am. I might as well speak my mind because no matter what, somebody going to either agree with it or they going to disagree with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't no need for me to carry it around. I might as well go ahead and voice my opinion.
And just say it. Yeah.
But so Cam, I sent that to you. It was a clip of the Cam, and for those that don't know, is on the Talk with Flea episode. Like I said, we could figure out we could end out on a light note. Um, and it's like a 47-minute video, but everybody was commenting on the little clip that I posted where he's talking about. She was talking about if a man should invest in, if a man is sleeping with her, he should protect and provide for her. I thought that would be an interesting topic, and that's just, being that I had a young lady on here with me tonight. I said I wanted to hear her take on this perspective and everything else. So just to give you guys a little context for back context without watching the whole episode, um, they were friends. They were intimate at one point in their lives. He never said that she was like the number one, but they had a relationship beyond just being platonic friends at one time. Years later, she goes to have her own business, start her own business, and she was okay. So her friend, according to the interview, her friend had wanted to be like a wedding planner. She had like this hall and all this other
Like
kind of
an
stuff.
event center, yeah.
Yeah, and she was doing all her different things, and the friend I sold her on this dream. So she figured, well, look, Cam, I just need a little bit of help. You know what I mean? Can you loan me $25,000 to, for this? In her exact words, this shell of a project. Okay, so the facility that she's purchasing, let's create this event center. It didn't have any ovens in there. It didn't have any refrigeration. It literally
No
didn't have a
ceiling.
roof. Yeah, it didn't have a roof. So Cam was like, listen, um, I think it's a bad investment. So she feeling some kind of way. You know what I mean? Well, if I give my body to a man, shouldn't he protect and provide for me? So that's kind of where the question that it all started. And I went a little bit step further, like where do we draw the line with people that we invest or not just invest or support, so to speak. So let me ask you, Tanya, do you, as a woman, do you feel like just because a man you sleep with a man that he's obligated? That's the word. That was her exact word. He's
No.
obligated to protect or and provide for you.
No, now it depends on now if I'm just sleeping with a man, no, he's not obligated to do anything for me. That's my choice. That's my choice to lay down with that man, but he is not obligated to me. We're two consenting adults, and if we decide to go that route, then we go that route, but he's not obligated to do anything for me. Now, if we're in a relationship, then that's different. But they weren't even together.
Mm-hmm.
She went to him as a friend for those $25,000 and got upset because he said it was a bad investment. And it turned out to be a bad
Yo, what up,
investment.
Jay? My homie Jay in
And
the comments.
he
My bad,
said that he said that um it wasn't a good investment, and that when she asked him, he turned into business Cam. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing personal. She kept taking it personal. But my whole take on it, when I watched the whole thing through, that girl's still in love with that man. She's still in love with that man. She is still in love with that man.
Absolutely.
And you could see it all in her face. And I was so glad as I was watching it, because I had realized it way before one of the guys had ended up saying it. He's like, you still have feelings for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bingo, because I seen it. I seen it all over her face. And that's why she couldn't even, and I felt bad for her because she couldn't even verbalize. Every time she went to go verbalize something, when
It
you
was
have
too
feelings for
painful.
somebody, you trying to
Absolutely.
express your feelings for somebody, your words will get minced up and you won't be able to. She couldn't fully verbalize how she felt. And she just kept being quiet and not saying much. She really didn't make herself too, like the brightest bulb in the bunch. But,
Hey, good
no,
looking
I don't
out.
think a man is obligated at all unless it's a deeper relationship, because you are a grown woman. And if you choose to lay down with that man, you still got to take care of all your business. You're still paying your rent on your own. He don't live with you. You still, you still got to pay lights. You still got to pay whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you choose to sleep with somebody doesn't mean that they're obligated to then in turn pay your rent and do all the things. Now, if they decide to do that, that's nice. But I mean, he's
It's
not
not obligated.
obligated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Rod, thanks. I got the message. I'm gonna check it out after the show. Sam said people need to take accountability for their own actions. I can't stand people blaming other whole humans for their dumb decisions. Can't be there you go, Janelle. You can't miss business with pleasure. Some women want a traditional man, but they don't want to be a traditional woman. I
That
agree a
part.
1,000% with that.
And she thought she was bigger than the program. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's it.
Absolutely.
And it was funny because, like I said, after I had seen a little snippet, but then I said, let me go watch this whole interview.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is, wasn't actually on that day. So matter of fact, I seen the whole episode before I seen the little snippet. And when it first got started, I said, all right, this is gonna be kind of interesting when I seen who was on there, what they was gonna be discussing. But by the time I got to the end, I can't even lie. I felt totally bad for her because
Me too, a little bit, because I'm like, girl, you really thought. No, honey. And that's what's wrong with a lot of women today. They really be thinking like a man is obligated to do these things. I I will tell you, if you're in a relationship with a man and he's not doing those things, then you might have a problem. But if you they weren't even together. That's what struck me when he said we weren't even together when this
Hmm.
happened.
For
They were
years.
just friends.
Hmm. So like you said, at the end of the day, she was just in her feelings because they
That
started
part.
the interview by saying like, okay, so she was moving back to the West Coast and she asked Cam because she stayed with him for 2 years. He got this 9-bedroom house. Why can't I get a room? And Cam's defense, not in his defense, not because he don't need no defense, but from his perspective was, listen, your mother lives out here, your father lives out here, your sister lives out here. Why do you need to stay with me?
And he said, if she didn't have a place to stay,
Yeah,
I would allow her to stay with
absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. Now, mind you, this is after years after they done stopped sleeping with each other. So,
Mhm.
and he said it. He was like, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I'm still sexually attracted to her. So I don't think that it would be a good idea for her to be in the same house with me.
Right.
Period.
And it's gonna cause more friction, more problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On a friendship. So that was another question that I have for you, and this is just for all you out here in general. Do you think that do you see a problem with platonic friends sleeping with each other?
Do I see a problem with friends sleeping with each other?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Cause like that could get dicey. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
So like if you have somebody that you're dealing with, I guess y'all would have a friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if y'all's but I wouldn't go back to like one of my homeboys that I've been like good friends with and go sleep with him.
mm,
But like if I formed a new friendship, maybe, yeah. I mean, but I wouldn't go
Sam
back to
said,
one of my
I was
homeboys and be like, yeah, I'm
Janelle,
gonna sleep with him.
good point. Janelle said you can't change a man that blunt up front.
That's
And
it.
that's the whole point. And I think that's one reason I do so well with the ladies. Just being honest. Not that I have a lot of ladies because I'm chilling right there. I'm in retirement.
Not
my players card.
retirement.
Yeah, I don't retire my players card. But one of the things that a lot of women would always tell me, good or bad and different, um, since my divorce, was like, I don't lie to you. I don't lie to women. I don't have any reason to lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going. I'm not going to lie. I'm the most upfront person you will ever meet. Now, I have learned that I don't have to always be so brutally honest, which I feel like Cam is at times. It
That's
ain't
my
always
problem. People don't
what you
like my
say. It's
bluntness.
how you. So I learned kind of scale back and take people in feelings into consideration. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to lie to you. Janelle said yes. So you saying yes that it is a problem for friends to sleep with each other? Um, Janelle, she put red flags up there. Yeah, so I guess you're
She
not
felt they
agreeing.
were platonic, which basically means just in case. Platonic
Mhm.
just means standby.
Yeah, that's what Sam said. Uh, so my take is this. Because I don't think that is a right or wrong
It,
situation or
in that
topic.
situation,
Yeah.
she was wrong.
No, you talking about back in her. Oh yeah, and Cam and Callie's situation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about in general now, like friends actually sleeping with each other.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I would never, like I said, I would never go back and like friends that I have established and that we just been simply friends. Like I wouldn't go back and double back. But if I'm in my older age, and I'm about to be 50 years old this year, in my older age, I feel like if I'm talking to you, we're gonna build a friendship anyway.
mhm.
So we're gonna be friends before
Yeah.
that happens anyway.
And
I
that
mean,
that's
I'm
why
I'm
I wanted to
I'm
ask a woman her perspective. You know what I mean? Because we men and women we see things from different perspectives, and um, that's one thing about my girl Jay too. Like shout out to my girl Jay that's in the comments. She's one of those ones that's super blunt as well. She's born and raised out here, but you would swear she would fit right in like New York and New
to
Jersey.
New
Like
York.
attitude, like everything. You couldn't tell if it wasn't for her accent. Other than that, She will blend right in up top. But for me, and it's like this, and like you said, you look at things differently as you get older. Um, I think a lot of times I don't necessarily consider it a problem for friends to sleep with each other. Now, here's why. I think that if we're really friends, I think what it takes is, first of all, we both have to be mature. Um, and I think that for it to take place, now what they say, sometimes the best what they say the best protection is abstinence. When it comes to sex, period. So a lot of times, if you don't even have to go, you don't have to worry about these issues if you don't sleep with each other in the first place. I agree with that 100%. However, if you do cross those lines, I think that you need to be mature enough. You need to be honest with one another, and I think that we don't need to just have one conversation about it up front. I think you need to do like what I call have a powwow quarterly every once in a while. You know what I mean? Because as two consenting adults, like you said earlier, we might say, you know what? I'm tired of all this sexual tension. You know what I mean? Let's get all this out the way. You know what I mean? Because you thinking about what I'm like sexually, I'm thinking about what you like sexually. Like, that's a whole nother elephant in the room. We never discuss it, right? Because most times, I'm not going to speak for all men. I'm not going to speak for all men. I'm just saying most of the men, especially the men that I know, when you meet a woman, if she's not a family member, she falls into one or two categories. Either she's doable or she's not. Period.
Oh,
Like either she's doable or she's not. If she falls into that doable category, you're gonna always wonder what it's like. Even if y'all never sleep about it, you're gonna think about what she's like in that bedroom.
we think about that too. Women think about that too.
So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the sexual frustration. Where we got that in some cases, I'm not speaking from personal experience. I'm just talking in general. I've heard of cases where people say, you know what, we because of that sexual tension that we're talking about. You know what, we decided to sleep with each other. We got it out of our system, and we only slept together maybe one or two times, but they've known each other for 10, 20 years now. You know what I mean? And they're able to keep that friendship, even though, you know what I mean, they won't go back down that way road again. But they went ahead and got it out
But
the
if
way.
it get good to you, you ain't gonna want to stop.
So that's another question. So all right, so you saying that just if it was good, then you ain't gonna be able to stop? Nah, so that's what made me say why I said what I said. That is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do believe that we both have to be honest. Because
Yeah, you got to be honest about it because, like, now I'm very territorial, very territorial. I won't call it jealous, but I'm very territorial, and so like I don't like to share. I wasn't that kid in kindergarten where I was sharing everything. I ain't like to share my crayons, and now that I'm older, I don't like to share my net. So like, I mean, what's mine is mine, and especially if it's that because now I'm like looking for you in the daylight with a flashlight. Because what'd you do to me? Just saying.
and here's why I say you need to be real, because things change, and we both might have, like me, prime example. I use myself. I don't like to use other people or other people's stories. I was in a situation with a young lady where we both was up front. You know what I mean? Look, we don't. Neither one of us looking for a relationship, but from time to time, I don't want to go to the movies by myself, or I might want to have some dinner with somebody. You know what I mean?
That
And
companionship. Yeah.
right. And from time to time, I might, you know what I mean? I might need some physical activities as well. And we both was cool. We both was cool with it. And the reason that I always said, because that was both our understanding going into it. However, 6 months down the road, she started catching feelings.
I was about to say, what happened?
So
What happened?
she started
Oh,
catching
okay.
feelings and wanted a little bit more, and it became problematic where I had to pretty much end the friendship because now you're looking
So
at me like,
you was taking her on dates to the movie, you was going out to dinner, and you was giving her that D. And you expected what? You expected her not to catch the feeling?
yeah, like everybody doesn't do that. Like,
So on.
so listen, in another situation, it was me that caught feelings. So you know what I did? I removed myself from the, you know what I mean? I removed myself from the equation because I know she didn't want more than just a sexual relationship. By this time, it's like you got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. It's not a male or a female type thing. It's just like you say, some people you want what you want, but sometimes you don't know. I remember many years ago, many years ago. This was way back in high school. But I had a friend like that where we were friends, but we had a sexual relationship too. And we were both in relationships with other people.
Oh
And
God.
we would on everything I love. We would literally have sex with one another and lay there and help each other try to fix the problems in our real relationships.
That's toxic as
Like,
hell.
or everything I love. But that was the dynamics of our relationship. Like, and then neither one of us ever caught romantic feelings for one another. It was
Yeah.
just, you cool, I'm cool. We might like to bubble ground with, hey. But
Listen.
everybody can't handle it. And I think that's why I say you got to be real with yourself first because you got to know your limitations. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to know your capacity. So like I said, I know everybody can't do it. Let me see. Sam said, did she just hit a note? Jealous is not bad. Being toxic is bad. Big difference. Sam,
I didn't say jealous. I said territorial.
that's what Sam tried to. That's the point he's making. Tomato, tomato. You can say it however you want to. Janelle said, "What's the difference between the two?" Absolutely. Hey, that's a good question. For women, that's considered intimacy, no matter if she's admits it or not. For some women, I'm telling you, Sam, especially like where we from. I know women that's just a lot of women these days. That's another thing that flip flop other than the church. A lot of these days, these chicks is the new niggas, so to speak, and the dudes is acting like the females. The dudes is in the ones that's all of they feeling. Chicks is out here living their best life. Like I'm telling you, it is roles that reverse so much since society. But I do, I do agree with with Sam when he say that there's a difference between jealousy and being toxic. I think that's a big difference because toxic, like it's one thing to be jealous, but it becomes toxic when you start showing out your behaviors. Like, like her in an interview, prime example. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Henry ain't nothing. She got it. Like, you gotta tell her, calm down. Like, bring it back. Like, you wouldn't be that so emotional if you didn't still have feelings for him.
Yeah, she was. She got. Yeah, she was. Yeah, emotional, super emotional, and I could see it all over her face. But I mean, back in the day, back in the day, like in my younger days, yeah, I was known to pop up, and I was known to,
Yeah, see, I don't deal with the crazy.
But I learned, it's really not worth it because you can't stop anybody from doing what they're gonna do. They're gonna always find a way, and if they want to do it, they're gonna do it regardless. So what am I? Why am I being anxiety filled? Why am I worrying about what they doing all the time, trying to look up stuff? Like, for what? They're going to do it regardless, and I can't stop it.
There you go, Sam. That's a perfect definition to me too for Janelle. Toxic is getting violent. If they admitted it or not, anyone in a relationship will get jealous. Yeah, I think just being jealous comes with being a part of it. But once you start committing acts and you get the key in the cars and flat tires,
no, that's crazy. So I've never done that. I've never done that. But Yeah, I've
That's
never destroyed, like,
diabolical.
I don't understand the females that go and break windows and bust out. Like, listen, I don't want that shit done to me. I'm not gonna do it to nobody else. Like,
Yeah,
because if you
period.
fuck my shit up, we gonna have a real problem.
Oh. Sam said, I know a dude who acts gay just so he could get with females after he sleeps with him. He say
Oh
he says they
no,
changed him.
that is
That's
wild.
diabolical, yo.
That is diabolical. That is crazy.
And then that's the other thing that be funny to me too. I always been sarcastic with it, but I've always asked myself this too because I've always hated that. Like, I don't like genders when it comes to certain things. Like a lot of times, my problem with it is a lot of women want equal rights up to a certain degree. That's the problematic that I have with it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And when you I forgot what my train of thought where I was even going laughing at that. That's funny, Sam. Oh, so I brought that up because so many times you hear, well, it's scientifically proven. Women are smarter than men. Women are smarter than men. But all right, so if women are so much smarter than men, why do y'all keep falling for men's BS? That be my part. If you're so smart, if you're so intelligent, why do you and it some of them know to be falling for good game. Like it ain't
Yeah.
even good game. It's like the wackest game whatsoever. But you fell for that.
I don't know. I think I don't know. When you're younger, I get in my younger age, I was very naive. Now, a friend of mine asked me the other day, he's like, "Are you dating?" And he's like, I'm sure your inboxes. And I'm like, "Yeah, they're asking me out on this." I said, "But I got on Kevlar right now." I said, "I got on Kevlar." Like, I am not falling for the BS. Nobody is consistent anymore. Nobody is, it's like you're just wasting my time. And I can tell by a conversation, like, I don't fall for the okey
All right,
doke.
so let me ask you this too. Since you went there, and Janelle, you in the comments, you can answer this too to me, because I'm hearing that a lot. For the last couple of years, I've been hearing that a lot on the different dating apps that I be on, and different sites and groups
Ooh,
that I'm
get off them
in.
dating app.
I need love too. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I miss the days of meeting people in the wild. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
trust me. I'm definitely old school when it comes to that. I'm very nostalgic. I would definitely prefer to, but I don't
yeah,
really go to clubs like that anymore unless we actually,
right,
celebrate
right,
the
right.
thing. Then when you are in a club, it's hard to meet somebody because it's like, how you doing? My name is Marvin. You yelling and
Yeah, yeah.
screaming, like, and I'm old school too. Like people always ask me, what do you want to do like for like what do you think is a ideal first date? I'm like, me personally, I would like to just go on a picnic. You know what I mean? So we could actually
Mhm.
talk and conversate with one another and get to know each other there. I think the movies is horrible because you said he watched
Terrible
the
first
movie.
date.
You know what I mean? But people that scared to date kind of use one of the movie so that we ain't got to talk to each other. That's a red flag for me. When you don't want to have conversation or you don't want to get to know me, then what are we really doing? But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. But women, Sam said women tend to want to
Oh, you was
kind
gonna ask a question.
oh yeah. There you go. Thank you for getting me back on track. I keep hearing that over and over again. And from your point of view, what does consistency consist of, and what does it look like?
So if somebody's interested in me, first of all, I don't do the whole "what are you doing me to death," and I don't do how you gonna act. Like, people come in my inbox and say the craziest things, and I'm like, that's not gonna get my attention. So first of all, key thing for me is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the one you're not gonna text me to death either. I'm old school. I like phone conversations. So if you could hold a conversation and stimulate my mind, that works for me. So for me, that's consistency. Communication is consistency. Don't hit me up. And I have this thing, Tanya talks. So I have this thing where I can get you to talking. Like, we'll be on the phone for hours because we just be talking about everything. I can communicate and I can start conversation and hold a conversation. And then we'll have this great conversation. And then you just want to not hit me up for like a week or whatever. Hey, stranger, why am I the stranger? Like you know what I'm saying? You just dipped and disappeared. So lack of communication is very inconsistent. You know, if you're showing interest in me, show interest. Make me want to, you know, talk to you. You
Now,
can't come to me with no boring, dry conversation. Then they want my phone number right off the bat. And I'm like, nah, we can stay in Messenger or we can stay on here and the, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, for what am I giving you my number for? You not, I can already tell.
so you don't like the good morning, beloved queen. You don't like those.
No, 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 no.
So let me ask you, does that go both ways?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I was married for a very, 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 very long time. I got married when I was 23 years old. I'm a wife. I am not, you know, I know how it is to be in a marriage. And I know how it is to be in a long-term relationship. So, you know, no. I'm
all right, because and the reason that I asked, the reason that I got to go both ways, because I get what you're saying, but I'm just speaking for me personally. I'm not speaking for anybody else or in general. I'm the type of person that if I reach out to you and I show you interest, that's me showing you interest.
mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by that is I'm old school. You know, I'm telling my age now, but it's like I never want to come across as sweating somebody either.
Right.
You know what
No,
I mean? So
you supposed like it, yeah, absolutely. It is like I said, you know how it is when you're interested in somebody. If you come to me, you hop in my inbox, you start a conversation. It's not just sending me a picture, you know what I mean? And or telling me that you want to, I don't even want to say it, but like there's a lot of things that get said. So if you can come in and grab my attention and stuff like that and make a conversation, yeah, I'm gonna reciprocate. I'm gonna reciprocate because you've got my interest now. You started a conversation. I'm be like, oh hey, you know, how are you? Most of the time it just falls off. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna keep texting you. I'm not gonna keep hitting you up. I'm not gonna chase after you.
yeah.
So yes, it has to be a two-way street.
All right. I was just checking the temperature because I'm like I said, I'm the same way, and you know, I don't never want to be the one. Like I know some women in this day and age or period. I don't know if it's an age group thing or whatever, but they're like, I ain't calling no man. He need to call me. But yet you want to call him all the time. You know what I mean? And like I say, how do I know if you never call me and I'm being consistent and constantly calling you? How do I know if you just answering the phone to be nice versus you really want to answer? You know
Or
what I'm
if
saying?
you're really interested. Yeah, no, I get it. Men have it hard. I'm not gonna like I always say that. Men have it way harder than women have it. Men in the dating scene, they have it way harder. And a lot of my friends and people that I know will say when they go out, they don't have women hitting on them left and right. You know, when women go out, guys hit on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, men have it way harder. So yes, women need to reciprocate. And what you mean? I ain't gonna call no man who needs to call me. Get out of here. Who are you? Like come on, man. That's stupid.
All
Like,
you gotta do is tell me once.
right. Like, but I bet you if she needed something, she would call you. I guarantee if she needed something or she wanted something, she would call you.
Sam said OG just asked if someone wants a tank of gas and groceries. That is how old they always call her what? Mr. Willie.
And Mr. Yeah.
My man, Mr. Willie, my man, Mr. Leroy. It's always like a Willie or a Leroy.
So, but a female like me would be like, what are your intentions? Because I ain't taking your groceries and your gas. If I, what are your intentions?
Yeah, so I like I said, I'm back to the Callie thing. I don't think speaking as a man, I don't think that a man is obligated to do anything just because you had sex with him. And she was like, you know, she got to the point where, would you raise your daughters to be like that? And I'm like, one, with me, I always look at me like I'm serious because I posted something last week and everybody was asking me, like, why would you say that is a curse to have a daughter? And first of all, I don't really be tripping on. I stopped tripping off the people on my Threads account and some of my Facebook because like most for most part, everybody on Facebook know me personally or in some kind of way. But
Mhm.
Threads are just people that just started seeing something I liked and started posting. So I thought it was supposed to be about health and as long as the baby is healthy, it doesn't matter whether it's a boy or a girl. And then one of them went back to that gender thing on me. She said, "Yeah, because it was the video that I posted of the little girl praying for the dad or father or brother, whoever, in the hospital bed, and thought it was real cute. And I
Mm.
vision, I was like cute, but thank God that God didn't curse me while having a daughter, a biological daughter, and this here and that there, yeah, because no, that wouldn't have been a curse because women pray better than men, and this here, I said, stop it, yo. Don't know one gender pray better than all that there.
Right, right.
Me personally, the reason I always joke about being a curse, and thank God I'm not having no more kids, period. But back then, I really, 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 on all jokes aside, when just the thought of possibly having a daughter, I would have been suicidal. You know what I mean? Because I really felt like I would have been one of those people that you see on the news. Like my daughter would have been homeschooled. Like
Right.
she'd have been locked in the basement. She don't even know what upstairs looked like.
Yeah.
Cause we taking food there down to her. I don't have any sisters. You know what I mean? So I never grew up with a woman right there. My mom was the only
Right.
woman that I seen. So I just knew at that particular time how I treated, sisters.
Right.
How I treated women.
Right,
Even
right.
even with friends and stuff, you were always, you see friends, homies that's dudes that's protective about their sister, but they sister that just made they sisters more attracted to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you the forbidden fruit and all that there. And I'm like, I don't want my little girl growing up to be like this one and that one and this one and that one. You know what I mean? I'd have tried to overfeed her so she was obese and nobody
Oh
found her.
my God.
Like, I would, I swear, I used to think about all this stuff on a consistent basis. Like, so I'm like, that's why for me it would have been a curse. Like,
Yeah.
because I would have lost my mind. I
Right.
would have lost my mind if I never forget when my oldest son was born. To this day, these people still probably remember me. When my oldest son was born, I ran through I forgot the maternity ward. And I was like, yeah, I ain't never been so happy to see a thing in my life. I was, I was high fiving nurses. I was ecstatic. I was so ecstatic,
Yeah.
but I was so serious at the same time. Like, oh my God, on everything I love.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. I don't have kids. I lost three, but
Sorry,
I
yeah.
know that two of them was gonna be a girl, and and I was like, darn, I don't know if I could deal with a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I would have. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? And somebody was speaking to me the other day about fostering, and I like immediately came out of my mouth, and I was like, I want a boy. If I do fostering, I want a boy. I don't want a girl. And then I was like, well, maybe I do want a little girl. But then I was like, no, because I get it. You just,
Mhm.
yeah,
And for me, I don't think either one of them is easy. I think raising a child, period, is difficult.
it is hard.
I
Yeah.
do believe that it's more complicated to raise daughters though, because like I got a goddaughter who I love dearly, and I look at her just like my actual daughter. That's why I specifically said in the post biological daughters, because I do have young ladies that consider me a father figure in their life, and I have
Hmm.
no problem with that. And I got my nieces, and you know, and one thing I will always say that especially the one my nieces particularly, and my goddaughter, because I've known her since she was born. I was there, since she was born. It's like one of the things that makes women daughters more complicated than boys is female little girls are very, very curious. Like the questions never stop.
I know my last relationship, my stepdaughter, she asked a lot of questions, and especially when her daddy wasn't around. So like we will get in the car and go somewhere, and to this day, because I still keep in contact with them. You know what I'm saying? To this day, she won't say nothing in front of her dad, but as soon as we get in the car, she's like, Miss Tanya. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this to me. Like, oh my God. And I've been around her since she was 6 and now she's about to be 16. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, huh. And the things that come out of her mouth and she tells me about all her little friends. And I'm like, oh, it's rough. It's
Mhm.
rough.
Yeah, females are a lot more curious than boys. Like, or boys are more curious about stupid things that I guess I can relate to more as opposed. But the girls want to know, well, why is this and how does that work? Then how did they make that work? And where does the power come from? And get the like, yo, can you just take a nap? Like,
Now, yeah, those are easy questions. Trust me, those are easy questions. Where does the power
I'm
come?
just trust me, they get a little bit more difficult. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But it was just like the thought of like, yo, do you ever go to sleep? Do you ever
Oh,
just
they
like
talk and talk and
just
talk.
wonder? Like
Yeah.
I think boys, we have no problem wondering more. Like, we have questions, but we might not ask them out loud. We'll keep them.
Silent. Yeah, just silent thinkers. Yeah.
But they definitely like that. Sam said, say never. I'm saying never, ever. I didn't say never. I said never, ever. I'm not having no more children. But somebody asked me that too. Like, man, you still young, man. I said, listen, yo, my baby boy, he 27 years old. I'll be a straight fool to start
You would
all
be
over.
literally stuck. Like, that's wild.
Send me
Yeah.
straight to the
Yeah.
psychiatric ward. Like, you must be crazy. You think I'm about to start all the way over from the toddler stage, the no crawling,
What's
just a
that
crawl
Martin
and
episode? You got to start from scratch.
yeah.
Where's scratch? You got to start from scratch.
I'm not doing it, yo. I'm not doing it. I don't pay my dues. Now I like to put this stage of life where I'm here if you need me. You know what I mean?
Right.
'Cause the
Right.
hard part is done. We done raised you. You grown men now. Proud of them. Proud of the young men that they are. They living their lives. You know what I mean? Now daddy's just here if you need me. Or you
Yeah, no,
need
I
some
feel
advice,
you.
you
I thought, I wanted it for so long. And now that I'm like, you know what? And all my friends are like, girl, you can go anywhere. You don't have to look for a thing. You don't have to da 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 da. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I call my nieces, I talk to them, my steps, I talk to them. But like, yeah, I come home and it's peaceful. I ain't waking up to
Yeah,
nobody asking me for food for nothing.
it's not for the weak, and it's not for everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I would see different posts too where women would say, well, that's part of being a woman. You would want to have a baby. I said, listen, I know a lot of women that say, listen, I ain't messing this figure up. I'm not messing this body up. They ain't got no problem with being aunties for the rest of their life. They don't want no biological children themselves because they thinking about their career. They thinking about this. They thinking about
Yeah.
that's the last thing on their child. But
And
from
it
your
costs a
perspective,
lot to raise children,
absolutely.
especially nowadays. Like, oh my God,
And that's why
it's
I don't understand
ridiculous.
people with pets. I'm like, yo, you voluntarily spending all this money for a pet, but that's just my thing. I mean, if that's what you want to do, cool, so be it. But you gotta take the dog out to walk. These were babies.
Yeah.
You supposed to change the diaper. Man, my man Ty, he picking up the poop and all. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't doing that. Nah. I don't do the pets, but to each his own.
I love
Before
animals.
we get out of here, since you mentioned it, like, do you mind? Do you mind if I ask you, like, what happened in your marriage? Like, what made it go wrong after so
Um,
long?
so we moved down here from New York and at the end of 2005. I'll try to make this as short as possible. I don't I don't know if he was going through something or whatever, but he started doing things behind my back and he claims he didn't, you know, cheat, but there was females calling his phone and it was just a lot of things like that. I found emails. It was, and so then one day he came home and he was like, that he was gonna go get an apartment. And we went through marriage counseling for like a year. But I will tell you, he was my best friend. And even after we separated in like 2010. We still remain friends. It was rough in the beginning because I was angry. I was really mad at him, but he realized it like a month later. He come banging on my door, like, I want my wife back. And, you know, but I was so mad and I just was like, no. And so we remained friends and he became very, very sick. And so, we still were married. I was married for 24 years on paper. Um, and he became very sick and he ended up with stage 5 renal disease. And I felt, because, I've known him since I was 16 years old and we've been through so much together, that I felt like it was my obligation to still take care of him. And so, even though, and within reason, because I had my own life, I had moved on, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But I still talked to him every day. I made sure he had his meds. I got him his place. I would go down and clean for him. I would go do his laundry. I would order his groceries. And sadly, he passed away 2 years ago in October. So,
Sorry.
that was the grief journey that I was talking about, because I'm in North Carolina because of him. I've known him since I knew that man for 31 years. And yeah, so he made his mistakes. I forgave him for it. It was what it was. Sitting back after he passed away thinking, damn, Tanya, why you didn't give him another chance? Why you didn't, So I deal with those things, but I'm working through them. But he made his mistakes, there was other, things that he did and decisions that he made that we ended up splitting. But he took care of me. He would come to every time he got paid. Even though we weren't together, he would be like, here, take my money. I'm gonna take care of you. I still want to take care of you. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. But he still insisted and he would not divorce me. And, even though I was, wanting to get a divorce, no. And it was crazy because after he passed away, I moved all my stuff out of storage and I have a loft upstairs. So I was going through stuff and I found a letter that he had wrote to me. Maybe like, I don't even know, a few years after we were separated, and just apologizing to me and telling me, affirming that, because I was like, what could I have done different? What could, you know what I'm saying? And he just told me, he was like, you were a good wife. I messed up, and I'm reading the letter and I'm up there sobbing my eyes out because I'm just like, I can't, but yeah, that's what happened, so yeah.
Definitely sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful thing in itself. Like, not that he passed away, of course.
I understand.
Like that, you guys could still remain friends, and like you said, even though you guys weren't together, in the end, you were still there for him, helping take care of him and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
I'm quite sure that he was very appreciative of that as well.
Oh
Because
yeah, he told
one
me.
thing I can say too as well, of course, it's not the same situation, but when you've made a lot of mistakes in a long-term relationship, let's put it that way, there's not a day goes by that even after you forgive yourself and you've been forgiven, right? There's not a day that goes by that you don't regret, or in some capacity wish you could have those days back, even though you know that you can't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel you what you're saying. I believe that he was being totally honest with you. What he said that in the letter, that it wasn't nothing that you did or anything like that. It wasn't you, like, because a lot of times that's what we do as individuals, not just females or just males. I think that we do that in relationships, period. Especially when the end of a long-term relationship is not mutual.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two completely different things, in my opinion. Like, when it's mutual and we both agree that, look,
this ain't working out. Yeah.
Then I think that is that much easier to maintain a friendship when you have that understanding. But when one wants out and one wants to still fight for it, I think that's a whole different ballpark in a different.
Oh yeah, it was hard. We were married for over 10 years, and he just came home one day and was like, "I went and got an apartment," and I was like, "What?" Like it just tripped me out, and I was like, "Don't do this. We're supposed to grow old together." Like I literally begged him not to, and he decided, and I said, "Okay." I said, after I was done and I came to my senses, and I said, "Okay." I said, "Don't try to come back to me." I said, "Don't, and he said, "Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it." And it didn't take a month. It literally, he was like, "I'm so sorry." Oh, I'm done. And what's crazy is nobody understood it. Like, why are you still friends with him? You guys are separate. Like, he left. When he showed me his apartment, guess who furnished it? Who put the dishes? Who decorated? I just was.
So let me ask you though, like, where did that come from? Like, what do you feel like that the source of that was, that you said, you know what, even though this guy broke my heart and he's hurting me, I still want to be a friend and I still want to be in. Like, what made you? What
I
about
don't I
gave
don't
you that?
know.
You know what I mean?
I'm very compassionate. I don't know. Like I loved him. You know what I'm saying? And I'd known him for so long. And I knew that, and I don't like to see nobody struggle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, especially, him and I had been through so much together. And I don't know. He didn't have furniture. So I was just like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I just loved him. And I just, maybe I thought maybe, okay, maybe later we'll get back together. But then once we were separated and then I had to go to my own apartment by myself and I hadn't lived by myself in over 10 years. And
Mhm.
so it was just weird to me. And then I started to realize like my husband really did just, you know, so I ain't gonna lie. I spiraled. You know what I'm saying? I was started drinking a lot. I was
Mhm.
just, yeah, it was bad.
You
It
gonna
was
have to teach
bad.
a class one day.
Yeah.
So while you said you spiraled, what did you think that you went through, or what was your steps as far as finding yourself again?
Um, I I don't know. I was single for like 7 years. Like I was dating, but I was just, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of just doing my thing. And um I think it was like a storm or something. And then like this guy came into my DMs and just started talking to me. And like literally I fell in love with his brain. Like I'm such a like intellectual kind of like I love that. That's why I said I'm big on communication. I'm a
Mhm.
Gemini. Like I'm huge on communication. So like I don't know. We started talking and we were just having these amazing conversations. So like we were sitting on the phone for like 6 hours at a time sometimes. And that's what kind of just switched it. I found somebody. I found somebody that was like kind of understood me, and I was able to tell my story to, and they got me. Like we connected, we clicked. So I don't know. I just fell right back into I mean, I was single for a long time, but I got into another relationship, and I thought that was my person, but here I am, single again after 8 years. So I was waiting for 8 years.
Mhm. Well, at least you're not spiraling anymore. You find yourself again, so that's good.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, me being honest, there are times when, you know, you used the word earlier. You miss the
Companionship.
you miss the companionship. You don't always
Mhm.
miss relationships, or you know what I mean, but sometimes you do miss that, just having a person, so to speak.
To
Um,
hang out with, to talk to
yeah.
laugh with, to joke with, to,
Mhm.
say a lot. What happens is a lot of people don't want the responsibility of, not to say, I don't want to put it this way, but kind of like answering to somebody, to be
Mhm.
accountable to somebody. They just kind of want let's go hang out, let's go have dinner, let's go have, da da da, let's go have, and that's it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But they
You
don't
don't.
want the responsibility to have to keep up with that. They don't want the accountability of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the perfect two words, and exactly that I was about to say: the responsibility and accountability. Because it's so much easier when you say, you know what I mean. Just like I knew people that were in relationships for 25 plus years, but never got married. Oh, it ain't nothing but a
Mhm.
piece of paper. It was just a piece of paper. What you worried about? Y'all gonna be together anyway. You gonna die together.
Right.
Why not
Right.
get married and get a little tax break or whatever the case may be? But I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
but everybody's solely different. But I just think about the pros and cons. You know what I mean? I finally got to the place where I'm comfortable being by myself, because just
Mhm.
because I'm alone doesn't mean that I'm lonely at all.
I made a video about that the other day. If you are comfortable with yourself, that's the quiet flex. Like you are comfortable alone. Doesn't mean you're lonely. You're not
Mhm.
lonely.
Yeah.
I
So
love coming home to my house. Then like shoot, as soon as I walk in the door, snap, snap. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm chilling. I could walk around and scratch and ain't nobody saying shit to me. Like, yeah. It is what it is. But then there are times where I want somebody rubbing my back and playing in my hair and laughing with me and joking with me,
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
get it.
So it is a give or take, just like anything else in life. You know what I mean? But we still here, and
We
we've
still
grown
here.
from it, and we learn from it. Like
That's
you said, we're
it.
coming up on 50. I just turned 50 in October, so
Thank
Gary, I'll be
you.
welcoming you to the club soon.
Listen, I cannot, like, I'm sitting here like, I cannot believe I'm about to be 50 years old.
Tell me about
50.
it. Tell me about it. What you got any plans to celebrate?
I don't. Everybody's like, what are you going to do for your 50th? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
probably be
you gotta
sitting
do
here
that
at
soon.
home. I don't go outside no more. I used to be such a social butterfly. I used to be out all the time. And
Mm.
now, if I make plans, I be kicking myself in the ass the day the plans come because I be like, damn, I just want to stay home. You know what I'm saying? No, don't get me wrong. I got a closet full of dresses and outfits and heels, and I love
Yeah.
to get dressed up. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm so used to, and that's another problem too. You get so used to being by yourself and being in the house that it makes it harder for you to leave.
Mm.
So I
At
don't
times,
know. I
yeah,
don't know.
I'm the same way at times. I just like I like the aspect of, and you miss it sometimes, but I love the aspect of like I be tripping now. Like I could go all day without eating, and you know what? It ain't hurt nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
folks like we're in a relationship. Well, what do you want to eat? And you need to
Oh,
get
that's like
something.
the big, like the.
Eat this. What do you want?
What you want to eat? I don't know what you want to eat. Like it's the
It doesn't
same
matter. It
thing.
doesn't matter to me. All right, well, let's go to Wendy's. I
I
want any
don't
like
want Wendy's.
look, look. Those type like
Listen,
I don't
I
have
don't
to
know.
have
I
this
gotta come up with
conversation.
plans though. I gotta
Yeah,
come up with plans and an outfit. I'm gonna be 50 years old. Like I really need to do something.
that's what you do on one of your next Tanya talks. Ask for some suggestions or recommendations for the turning 50 or the celebrating 50.
I wanted to travel, but that's not gonna happen for by June. So, and everything's going crazy now. Like I'm afraid to go anywhere because it's like the hell is going on in this world.
It's not June 24th, is it?
June 15th.
Okay.
June
Yeah. My
15th.
mom's birthday is June 24th. That's why I was asking.
No, no, no. So she's a Cancer.
Yeah, well, you got time though. You got time to get something planned together now. You never know. You still might be able to make it out of town,
I
or
don't know. I might call some. Maybe I'll either do a road trip or just call some people and just go out to eat or something. I don't know. Birthday. I mean, thank God I'm living to see it. That's all I could say. Is like that's my gift right there, the gift of life.
yeah,
I'm still
that's
here.
cool. Cause
My mom passed away when she was 42. So
yeah,
when my 42nd birthday was coming, I was like, oh God,
panicking.
is it gonna be my time?
Yeah, yeah. Cause I thought the same thing. I thought when I turned 50, I was gonna do like this great grand big ball. I was gonna get all my family, my friends together, and
Yeah.
do my own like Hall of Fame speech now that I made it, and all this kind of stuff and DJs. And the time came, I literally, um, I took the year off because normally what I do on my birthday is I usually go catch a matinee by myself. I always go to my favorite restaurant, which is IHOP. I go to IHOP, you know, and go catch me a matinee. But this year, I was just so reflective of coming where I come from that you said, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even going to the movies. I didn't even go to the movies. And it was on a Saturday, so I definitely could have
Oh
partied.
wow.
And I said, you know what? I just wanted to spend a day with God and just thank him for allowing me to see
Yeah.
people. And I watched my own favorite movies. I didn't even go to the movie theater. I was just so reflective, like literally the whole weekend. So,
Yeah. No,
like
I understand that. I get it. Cause like, you sit there and think, God, if you just sit down, and I do this a lot, like just everything that you've been through in your life.
you
And then
got
like
so
your
much to be
body
grateful.
feels 50, but your mind doesn't feel 50.
Absolutely. Isn't that amazing how that works?
Yes. Cause I still feel like I'm, young, you know what I mean? So
In spirit.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this was fun. I'm gonna definitely have to get you back on whenever you available.
I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let you get ready to go so you can get prepared for tomorrow. First
Yeah.
work week. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys as usual. Again, check out Tanya's is it
It's Tanya
podcast?
Talks PRPYT on YouTube.
Okay. On YouTube. Go subscribe to her channel, look up and subscribe to her channel. And it's Tanya Helt HELT on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Please support her on there as well. Like she said, Miss Hey Y'all Hey.
Hey,
Um
y'all. Hey.
she does different videos throughout the day. And I seen the other one. I was laughing at you right before we came on. I seen the one where you were talking about being stuck in the house and
Oh, yeah. Hey,
how you hate it.
it's true. Because when you know you can't go nowhere, that's the problem.
uh and then like you said, when you got the opportunity to go anywhere, you don't go nowhere.
I wasn't
It's
going
only an
nowhere,
issue
no
when
way.
you
That's the problem.
it is funny how that works out like that. Hey, thanks,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, man, like I said, we're gonna schedule it. We're gonna come back on, and I'm gonna let you ask some questions and do
Okay.
what you do. You know what I'm saying on this platform
For
here.
sure.
We can talk about whatever's going on that's currently happening. But I want everybody to have a safe week. Again, keep the Bay family in our prayers as well as that whole drama going back home in the city of Newark. Um, but uh, make sure you contact somebody again, like we've been saying for the last months when the show goes off. Make sure you contact somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Let them know that you love them, that you care about them, what they mean to you, because none of us is promised midnight tonight. You just never know when your number's going to be called. So
That's
make sure
right.
let's not take time and life for granted. Forgive somebody, for help somebody, do something while you yet can. Don't just sit there and wonder about what I could have or the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and
That's right.
whatnot. Just let's be real intentional about being there for one another, caring about one another, and being there well for one another. Everybody stay warm. If you don't have to be out there in the streets, especially back home, and shame on you, city of Newark. I seen that where even I know a lot of places in New York it goes on too. And I forgot all about it. I wanted to talk about that, but shame on y'all. Um, snowing those blocking those people cars and getting the shovel out the snow because you can't put it on the sidewalk, you can't put it in the street. And I know it got to go somewhere, but how you gonna be barricading cars in on the street, man? It was ridiculous. Some of the videos that I was seeing in the
Yeah, I
city,
saw that. Yeah.
like y'all really need to do better as a city and a community because even when it ain't no snow, everybody complaining about y'all not doing y'all jobs anyway with the street cleaners and everything else. So we got to do better, man. Let's do better for our city and do better for our citizens as well. Raz Baraka, all the councilmen and everybody down in City Hall. Let's do better for the city and your constituents of the city of Newark. That being said, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you all. And as usual, in signing off, DeAndre and Lisha know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.
Good night.